Jake Paul was once just a YouTuber causing chaos online, but one fight changed everything. How did a single bout catapult him from social media star to a legitimate figure in the boxing world? And what made this fight so unforgettable that it redefined his career forever? Jake Paul has been in trouble before. He has made a living by being hard to ignore, whether it's through YouTube pranks that go viral or fights between famous people. But not many people would have thought that this controversial internet figure would one day change the way boxing is done. Jake Paul's rise from social media star to professional fighter has been lightning fast. One fight in his career stands out as the turning point that made him a real figure in combat sports, moving him from being a novelty act to a serious contender. This isn't just a story about punches and knockouts. It's also about time, strategy, and the unique ability to get people's attention in a world where social media rules. Before he even fought, Jake Paul was already on the rise. Paul first became well known on the short-form video app Vine, where he did crazy pranks and funny sketches. He was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1997. When Vine shut down, he moved on to YouTube with ease and quickly became one of the most popular channels, with millions of followers, a rude personality, and a knack for making news. His videos had a lot of viewers, but they also made him known as a problem, and people often said bad things about his risky stunts and behavior. But Paul wanted more than just going popular. He wanted to make a place for himself where he could find opportunities, which is what brought him to fighting. In 2018, he fought his first boxing match, which was against Deji Olatunji, another influential person. Even though this wasn't a professional fight, it showed that Paul wasn't just another famous person trying to make headlines. He was ready to work hard and get ready for the ring. It was that first meeting that set the stage for a business career that would soon become famous. In January 2020, Paul fought Aneeson Gibb for the first time as a professional and beat him by knockout in the first round. The fight was short, intense, and Paul was clearly the stronger person. It also made a point. This wasn't just a show. As Paul trained for hours, he learned the skills and started to take boxing seriously. The question for both fans and critics was, could he go from being an internet star to a real contender? After his first game, Paul slowly built a resume that showed both his standard athleticism and his natural media savvy. He fought MMA veterans, famous people, and professional sports, and each fight made him more well-known. Paul's wins over Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley put him on the map and showed that he could compete with more experienced fighters. These games weren't just sports events. They were shows meant to get as many people as possible involved. From the ads leading up to the fights themselves, Paul knew how important it was to tell a story in combat sports. It was clear right away that his fights were more about entertainment than winning. Even though Paul was becoming more well-known, he still had to deal with doubters. He was seen as a novelty act by many experts, who questioned the credibility of his opponents and said that his fame, not his skill, was what made him successful. Paul needed a fight that went beyond the internet to silence his doubters and boost his career. He needed a fight that would put his name in the same league as boxing's best and show the world that he belonged in the conversation. Jake Paul revealed a fight with Mike Tyson, the former heavyweight champion and one of the most famous names in boxing history. From the start, this fight had a huge impact on culture. Tyson, who was famous for being brutal in the ring, embodied a time in fighting that had shaped generations. Paul, on the other hand, stood for a new generation of players who use social media to make history. The fight brought together the past and the present, custom and new ideas, sports and entertainment. The fight took place on November 15, 2024, at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. It was both a high-stakes sports event and a worldwide media event. Over 108 million people around the world watched it when it was shown on Netflix, making it the most streamed sports event in history. a lot more people watched through broadcasts, live comments, and the internet. It wasn't just a fight. This event became a societal phenomenon. The fight was important in many ways outside of the ring. For Jake Paul, it was a chance to show that his job wasn't just based on going viral or acting like a famous person. Putting himself up against a live legend, someone whose fame went beyond sports, was scary. This fight could have changed how both his friends and his critics saw him. Paul's standing rose when he fought Mike Tyson, no matter how old he was. It wasn't just a win or loss. It was about getting along with other people. Getting into the ring with Tyson made Paul seem like a real player, not just a novelty. He was now able to compete at a level that deserved respect and attention. A lot of people watched the fight, not just boxing fans. Many young people and social media fans watched for the first time because they were amazed by the show of a YouTube star fighting a boxing legend. Paul successfully expanded the age group of boxers, bringing in a new crop of fans. The fight was talked about all over the world and filled news stories and social media posts. People talked about things other than sports, like pop culture, entertainment, and the power of the media. Paul was able to use hype, streaming services, and social media to get more attention, which made him famous even among people who had never watched boxing before. The important event was Jake Paul's win over Tyson. At that moment, he was no longer just seen as a powerful person trying to box. He was seen as a real sports star who could draw huge crowds and take on historic tasks. Sponsorships, popular media coverage, and event partnerships grew by leaps and bounds, and Paul's name became linked to crossover success, which means being able to balance credibility in entertainment and sports. This fight also made it possible for more big fights to happen in the future. Paul's name started to be linked to some of the biggest names in boxing, which led to talk of possible fights with heavyweight champions and past champions. Even though Paul lost his first fight to Anthony Joshua in December 2025, the fight built on the momentum Tyson had created, showing that he could battle on a global stage and stay in the fight, win or lose. The fight between Paul and Tyson changed the sport in a way that will last for a long time. He showed that streaming services, social media campaigns, and star culture could be used to promote boxing without taking away from its competitive legitimacy. Traditional boxing companies started to pay attention to the model because they saw that the sport could attract new fans if it was presented in new ways. Some people said that these kinds of fights crossed the line between sports and entertainment, but the numbers showed that they weren't. Record-breaking numbers of people watched, unprecedented levels of engagement with streaming, and media coverage that went beyond sports pages. Paul changed the way a boxing career could look in the 21st century. He showed that power, business sense, and athletic skill could all work together in strong ways. Jake Paul's rise after his fight with Mike Tyson showed how the areas of sports, media, and fame are changing. Putting on great fights in front of a lot of people has set an example for athletes and celebrities who want to combine entertainment and competition. More importantly, he has questioned traditional ideas of what makes a sport legitimate by showing that performance, planning, and audience participation can all be used to define success in modern boxing. The way he built his business also shows how important branding and story are. Fans and people who just like to watch can follow the story because every fight, press conference, and social media share ads to it. The Tyson fight was the peak of this strategy. It was a time when preparation, chance, and cultural resonance all came together to make an effect that will last. If you're enjoying this video, hit that subscribe button and join us for more epic sports stories.